And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Donald. Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Briggs.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming today. Justin, did I catch you off guard?
You did.
Thank you, guys. Welcome. Today, this is Tomorrow's Thespian. We have some wonderful actors for you today, but before we get to them, let's go ahead and meet the judges who are going to critique them. He's one of the stars of the smash hit A Chorus Line, can be seen in the new JetBlue commercials, and is the director and choreographer of a new musical called Romeo and Bernadette. Please welcome Justin Ross, everybody.
Thank you, Donald. Good to be back.
And she's an actress, producer, and acting teacher known for her role as Tracy DeSanta in Grand Theft Auto 5. She's currently producing a narrative feature that she wrote and will act in called Born That Way, none other than Michal Sinnott. Michal, welcome. And he's a famed acting coach and owner of the Artist Playhouse. He's renowned for acting in such films as Howard Stern's Private Parts, Simone, and Finding Forrester. Welcome, Barry Papick, everybody. Barry, welcome. All right, we're going to go ahead and bring our first actor out from the play K2 by Patrick Myers. Please welcome Sean O'Reilly.
Well, I first became interested in physics in the 7th grade. I mean, it was then that it was like, I obviously finally realized that the whole concept of education was to just pump in information, data, etc., into us so that we would correlate it, interrelate it in such a way that a common thread work, or patchwork, I should say, would finally come together and enable us to engage in the civilized pastime of problem solving. Now, first that seemed like a quaint idea. I mean, there we were, a bunch of confused little kids, our brains being pureed with a bunch of dissociated data. I too was slipping into that miasma when one day, in the school library, I came across a physics textbook explaining Albert Einstein's unified field theory. I found God. A believable God. A fluid, flexible, mutable, ever-changing, but always constant God. A God that pervades, is the core of the physical universe. I went to college, dove deeper into physics, and discovered that Albert had failed in the realm of quantum mechanics. I saw God die. Quantum mechanics, right? A branch of physics that doesn't adhere to the main law of the common universe, cause and effect. A cornerstone of physics, of all the sciences, smashed to pieces by the very universe that gave it birth. For years, I wandered, a bitter and confused atheist in an existential world of quantum reality. I became a hippie, then a bum. Finally, the end of my transient rope came to me. There was no answer. It was not understandable. It was blind faith. Blind faith was the plain brown wrapper that held together the cosmic glue, the energy for metamorphosis. I went back to school, got my PhD, doubting we'd ever find the answer, doubting that blind faith could ever be explained. We found the quarks. Hey, buddy, we found the quarks! Einstein was right! There is a hidden variable, a subatomic, non-local, beyond time and space particle that carries the information, the truth, explaining away all this quantum reality's random madness. Two light particles, once in contact, will continue to react as if they're still in contact, no matter how far apart they are in space. We found God's house, buddy. And we called it Quarks.
Sean, all right, Sean. All right, thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. Let's find out what these judges have in their heads, all right? Justin.
Hey. Well, Patrick, the biggest
sorry.
problem I had today, because I like your presence, you seem like a very, very castable actor. And, but I didn't understand what was at stake for you, for this character. And it's full of, all this technical stuff that the average person is not really gonna understand or have a great appreciation for, but they would if they could understand why it was so important to you. And you speak about God a lot, and it was in the middle of the monologue when you suddenly you reveal yourself to have been an atheist. So suddenly you found God in this, and I found, and I don't know, it just seemed a little rushed and a little easy. I'm backtracking now. At the top, when you're bringing up all these God references, I saw God the way I see God. And I had to make that intellectual leap in my head, but I didn't get it from the character. So I think that would be, the most helpful thing I could try, to pass on is again, just again, up the stakes and help me care.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, when you first started, you launched into it, but I wanted you to take a moment to ground yourself in the character. It came out so quick that it was just, it didn't feel, I don't know what your point of view was. I didn't know who you were speaking to throughout the piece. I also noticed that you were paraphrasing sometimes. Mm-hmm. So, and we all disagree on this, but I believe if you're gonna do someone else's words, that you have responsibility to say those words. And if you get a line here and there wrong, like that's not, people make mistakes, but I personally think you don't know the lines well enough. So that's a problem. And then it's a piece that's all over the place, and it's clear that this guy is all over the place. I mean, he's on this search for truth and search for God. But I don't know if I entirely knew what you were, like, what's your objective in telling this story, and who is it to? Those weren't clear to me, and so as a result, I feel like I was spending energy trying to figure that out rather than going on this ride with you. Okay. Thanks. Okay.
I think if somebody is looking at the words, then you're not doing your job. If someone's wondering, did he get the words right, then you're not doing your job. And I think that's the major problem here. There was a lot of passion, and there was a lot of work that I just didn't believe. Now, let's take Albert Einstein, for example. I don't know if you're really a huge fan of Albert Einstein. I am. I think Ideas and Opinions was one of the books that changed my life. So if you're not a great fan of Albert Einstein, then you have to find an author that you are a great fan of. And you have, because I didn't believe that you were telling me that this is someone that you love. This is someone that could be a god. I mean, I could talk of Chekhov, and I could say, I think maybe he's a god. I could talk of Einstein, and I could say, I think maybe he's a god. But I can say it because I believe it. And I've done my research. I know these guys. And I can really drop in, to what they're saying and what they're saying and how it means to me, what it means to me. So I think that was the biggest problem here.
All right, Sean O'Reilly, everybody. Sean, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
My apologies, I called you by the playwrights name.
All right, next we have a young lady who's here going to do something from the great musical West Side Story by Ernest Lehman, Jerome Roberts, and Arthur Lawrence. Please welcome Roxy Pacheco.
How do you fire this gun, Chino? By pulling this little trigger? How many bullets are left, Chino? Enough for you? Or you? Or you? All of you! You all killed him and my brother and Riff! Not with bullets or knives. With hate. Well, now I can kill too because now I have hate! How many can I kill, Chino? How many? And still have one bullet left for me? Don't you touch him! Don't you touch him!
Roxy, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's find out what Justin thinks about it.
Hey, Roxy. Well, wow, you really gave yourself quite a task by choosing the penultimate emotional moment for this character. Her entire world has been rocked upside down, her entire worldview. Everything that she loves, imagined her world could possibly be, is now, laying dead there in front of her. Her brother has already been killed at the hands of the animals who are really all just young boys. So this brief monologue has to be the rallying war cry for sanity in a world gone mad. And I didn't feel that kind of tension in your body, even in stillness. It wasn't like, she, in the film, she's just over his body, so it's not like there's a lot of action going on, but there was such tension in her body. And if you're gonna hold a gun, you have to make me believe, I know that it's not a real gun, but you have to make me believe that it is real. Just in the technical way that you hold it. And what does it mean for you to have this instrument in your hand, this foreign object, that heretofore repelled you, and now, you have the power to kill anybody, within spitting distance. So you need to physicalize it better. And again, if you're gonna take on such a momentous piece of emotionality, to really take the time before to work yourself up to that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Justin. It's a really challenging piece, and it's the kind of piece that you can't get away with doing at any, on any level but all the way. And it's a sort of piece where you have to start at like a 10. And I don't mean 10 in terms of loud and crazy, but it had the conviction and the utter pain and just your world everything has ended. Everything has crashed apart. And that intensity is something you can't fake or you can't kind of do. You have to be all in. So you really set yourself up for like a very, it's you can't choose a piece like this unless you're going to completely deliver it, because it's always going to fall short if you don't. And so as a result, there were moments where I felt you pushing. You weren't really crying. You can't pretend to cry because we know you're not crying. As much as you might look like if you put the muted the sound and whatever, that we would believe it, but we know that you're not, and so it takes us out of it. It also, miming takes us out of it. If you're pretending to touch a body, it takes us out of it. So monologues are challenging in that way because you are speaking to the air, but to whatever sense you can ground it in truth, and maybe the body's right in front of you, but you don't have to touch it, so that we can imagine the body. But if you're just touching the air, then we know that you're not actually touching the body, and it takes us out of it. But I think it's a very hard piece to do, and I commend you for picking challenging work. But I would just encourage you to work on that kind of stuff, but not to really bring it until you're fully ready to do it, because you have to go all in. Thanks.
Penultimate.
Penultimate.
I still don't know what that means. Just as much smarter than I am. Good. Thank you. We know that you weren't really crying because we weren't really crying. And if you cry, we'll cry. What we want you to do is show us the pain that we feel and let us look at our own pain. And the only way we could do that is if you're really looking at the pain that you feel, if you're really in the pain that you feel. I want to see Roxy's pain in this, and if I do, then I'll feel my own pain and I'll be able to relate to it. And it all comes down to preparation. The preparation wasn't strong enough here. So what happened was you were always chasing your own tail, so to speak. You were always chasing that preparation, trying to get to that place. You have to, like they said, you have to be there when you step up there. The truth has to be there when you step up there. The preparation here has to be incredibly strong. And as an actor, preparation is our job. It's not what we do up there, it's what we do out there. And that's what was missing here. So I never really got to feel, your deepest truth or your deepest pain. And in order to do this monologue, I have to feel your deepest pain. And what Justin said about the gun is absolutely true. I once said to an acting teacher of mine, I have this scene that I have a gun in my hand. How do I believe in this gun? And she said, you believe in the gun. You have to believe in the gun or it doesn't work. And I never for one moment believed that you had something in your hand that could kill people.
This is Roxy Pacheco. Roxy. All right, thank you, Roxy. Appreciate it, all right? Thank you so much. All right, the final actor for this afternoon, doing a piece from Misanthrope by Molière, translated by Richard Wilbur. Please welcome Samantha Padilla.
Madame, I haven't taken you amiss. I'm very much obliged to you for this, and I'll at once discharge the obligation by telling you about your reputation. You've been so friendly as to let me know what certain people say of me, and so I mean to follow your benign example by giving you a somewhat similar sample. The other day, I went to a fair and found some most distinguished people there discussing piety, both false and true. The conversation soon came round to you. Alas, your prudery and your bustling zeal appear to have a very slight appeal. The affectation of grave demeanor, your endless talk of virtue and of honor, the aptitude of your suspicious mind for finding sin when there is none to find, your towering self-esteem, that pitying face with which you contemplate the human race, your seminizing and your sharp aspersions on people's pure and innocent aversions. All these were mentioned, madame, and in fact were roundly and concertedly attacked. What good, they said, are all those outward shows when everything belies her pious pose? She prays incessantly, but then, they say, she beats her maids and cheats them of their pay. She shows her zeal in every holy place, but still she's vain enough to paint her face. And she holds that naked statues are immoral, but with a naked man she's have no quarrel. Of course, I said to everybody there that they were being viciously unfair, but still, they were disposed to criticize you, and all agreed that someone should advise you to leave the morals of the world alone and worry rather more about your own. And they felt that one's self-knowledge should be great before one thinks of setting others straight. That one should learn the art of living well before one threatens other men with hell. And that the church is well equipped, no doubt, to guide our souls and root our vices out. Madame, you're too intelligent, I'm sure, to think my motive's anything but pure. I'm offering you this counsel, which I do, out of a zealous interest in you.
Samantha, Padilla. I love green eggs and ham. A piece of cake and some spam. Yeah, I can do it too.
Right. Yeah.
All right, let's find out what the judges thought of that, okay? Okay. Justin, please start us off, okay?
Hey, Samantha.
Hello.
Hi. I think you have really wonderful instincts, and clearly a good gift for comedy and irony, which is not something that everyone gets. And I do think that understanding the ironic is a gift indeed. I just wanted it to be more real. You know, but were you nervous?
It was nervous.
Yeah. Well, you know, I gotta say, you know, auditioning, as so many people have with material like this, I mean, to come into an audition, I would never recommend that you go to an audition unless you're going for a Shakespearean role and they want to see a Shakespearean monologue. Mm-hmm. Or if you're auditioning for this play or another play by Molière and they want, you know, and you have this in your, you know, your trunk of monologues, choosing to be judged on a play by one of the greatest wordsmiths of all time is putting a lot on you. That said, you did make this choice, and I think you, in time, will be up to it. Okay. But I just wanted, again, you know, more reality and less acting. And I also think I like that you brought on the fan as a prop, but I think you missed opportunities as to when she would choose to use it and when she wouldn't. It seemed random, and it should never be random. So, especially if somebody is carrying a fan. They don't carry a fan around randomly, and they don't use it randomly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think this was a good start, but you know, there's I wanted to see you. I mean, this is a princess. This is, or maybe she's a queen. I forget, but she is. I mean, she is someone, you know, of real power. So I feel like you were going there halfway with these instincts, but I wanted you to own the space more and own her power and her ability to manipulate and mess with this person. You know, she has the forum, she has the stage. It's such a fun, delightful piece. And this is someone that really delights in getting one over on someone. So really relish that. You know, I mean, you were, but I think you could even delight in it more. It's like this little mouse you're batting around, you know, and it's just so fun. There were a couple that towards the end, the line, don't worry, and worry rather more about your own. I saw you showing your true colors there, but I felt like that was the actor choice of I'm going to show my true colors so we all know what's really going on. Your audience is smarter than that. And I don't think that character really ever loses control. She's always in control. So find the ways that someone who's always in control loses control. It's different than you, the actor, making the choice to lose control right now, because that's what I saw. I saw you making an actor choice rather than really living in the character. But there's a lot that was good there, and you have a real delightful playfulness about you that is really will serve you well in your future career. Yes.
Samantha, I think you're adorable. And today you were more of the poet than the actress. And I think that's the challenge here. I love Moliere, but the challenge to do Moliere is to really drop into those words and not just play the poetry. The poetry is very, it's fun. But as the actress, you have to really drop into those words. To me, that was the biggest problem here, was that, it was, like they said, it was a great start, but you have to go further with this and really become the actress and really take these words and drop in. And don't play with a mouse like that. You can hurt the mouse. Okay.
All right, Samantha Padilla, everybody. All right, we come to the end of the show. If I can get the other two actors to come back out here. Roxy, Sean. Thank you. Okay, once again, thank you to Sean O'Reilly, Roxy Pacheco, Samantha Padilla. Thank you, judges. Thank you, audience. Thank you, crew. Thank you out there for joining us. Join us next time tomorrow.